a good friend who's a fellow poet who lives in England. And she recently fell on hard times and not too many months ago found herself homeless and living out of her car. And I wrote this poem as a response and a tribute to her. And it's called A Prayer to St. Margaret of Cortona. St. Margaret of Cortona is the patron saint of the homeless. So this is a prayer to her. It's dark, Margaret. Darker than leafy shadows that hide the faces of the back alley murdered. The blankness of new moon sky, the refuge of centipedes on the other side of moss. It's dark, Margaret, and I'm tempted to personify everything as crying. The streetlight parabola on this pavement reeking of rain, the empty sky, the leaves disconnected from home, from branch, from blood and life. It's dark, Margaret, and I am alone beneath the smoldering of heaven, the blanket-topped coals. I am trapped. A starfly stuck on unseen contact paper. A drowning diver staring watery eyes at the lures of anglerfish. Morning brings no release, only the ability to see my captivity. It's dark, Margaret. All my prayers to you bouncing off, echolocations to navigate by, return, bruised and well-traveled. No miracle tonight. The lamplight is still artificial, the moon is still in transit, home is still a taunting definition. Tomorrow is still not today. But Margaret, I'll tuck myself into the back seat and dream of noise and distractions and all of the adiaphora that clutters these meaningless lives. Life is too sparse without it. It's dark, Margaret. Wink to me tonight. Slice a crescent into the curtains of heaven. Let the moon out and let me in. Overturn this rock and I'll scramble like a light-drunk potato bug. It's dark, Margaret, and I am alone. Keep me company with your dirty face and streetlight nimbus. Mother of hobos, of prostitutes, the insane, the tramps, the orphaned, the recessioned, the downlucked, the back-writhing beetles. Illuminate. This poem is called Simplicity. When I love, I want to love simply, like unadorned adobe, plain and smooth and beige, yet warm beneath the sun and crafted with hands veined with blue rivers, etching endless cartographical possibilities. When my baked brick love is ready, I will build a boring house, and the sun will make it glow like the inside of a kiln until sunset paints over the beige. This is a little bit longer poem. And it's called Homage to Charles Wright. Charles Wright is probably my favorite poet who's writing today. And this is several little poems broken up. It starts, hoarding the little mounds of sorrow laid up in our hearts. Dust falling between the cracks in our fingers, tomorrow knocking like an oil-parched engine. We sing the songs that fall from constellations. We sing the apples that fall from the first strong wind in late August. We are the rapture's children, wearing robes in waters stirred by an angel. Peace swoops like a bat. To the southwest, the clouds build up into minarets. Peace darts away, chasing a firefly into the tail-lit darkness. Night, with its full syringe, its epaulet of stars, its milk-dark flatness, settles in among the pines like a madness. You can hear the leaves on the apple tree invert, forming coracles to catch the sparks that fall when the universe explodes. Now was when a great poet would quote a Chinese writer, but I am not a great poet. So I will lie on my back and allow the stars to catch me when I rise. God says, watch your back. Cover the hooves of your horses with strips of shroud and habit. Reaching for love is like reaching for the trunk of a blue spruce. Love is only a word, Noah nude, stripped of everything sacred, simply sinew, beard, and joint, sagging vowels and arthritic consonants. Your accent gave you away, warming your hands on Golgotha. Pray as though you were praying with someone else's soul, because you are. My child's life is only as sacred as the life of this baby I hold in one arm, the other arm pouring the waters of baptism. As drops drip down her shoulders, her head glistens like an Appalachian bald drenched in dew. All of our dreams were someone else's first. All of our originals are imitations. All of our nights, the ones where we stare at dark suns on the ceiling, have been slept through by minds both bolder and more timid than our own. If the moon doesn't mind, who am I to say otherwise? A minute of splendor is a minute of ash, and a moment when sun spreads its scorpion tails across the grass is a moment to walk among the stings. A minute of love is a minute of calamus, and a moment of silence is a moment of singing. A minute of pink in the west is a minute dyed with woad to the east, and a moment of wisdom is a moment of steam rising from rain upon this altar. My last poem to share with you today is called What Prayer Is. A 60-degree day in an Ohio February. A cigarette butt tossed from a moving car, exploding into bursts of disintegrating meteor. A hawk perched on a dead deer, not eating, just staring the vultures in place. New love followed by a date for one with a seat facing an unopening door. A gallows moon, star swinging beneath, my daughter trying but unable to reach. The failure of instinct while considering that first kiss. Bodybuilders with no necks, turning their entire bodies to respond to a call like a mechanized wheelchair. That moment before sunset when the sky holds up an atomic dime and the world looks away.